Hello, wild ones. Here is a flip through of my section of sketchbook that I took to Arizona. And I've also started doing a like drawing book. This is on paper that's more like, well, it's just thick printer paper. So I think I'll just go through, let me start with that. The cover is inspired by the colors I painted on my mom's outdoor decoration while I was there. And then I love starting with quotes. So this says, "Dear artist, remember that the opposite of depression is not joy, it's expression. So create, 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 for it is the soul's medicine." And this is my parents' little new house. This is an outdoor concert that a band was playing and we were all listening. And when I did these two palm trees, I noticed that their faces they kind of had faces. So I just made them faces. And then you'll see the rest of this book is filled with palm trees with faces. I just couldn't unsee it once I saw it. This was gathering a scene from the freeway. So we're going really fast down the freeway, but they have all these incredible specimen trees, specimen cacti on the freeways. So I just gathered a couple of those. These are the White Tank Mountains that you can always see in Phoenix. And then I just did some mark making between each level. So this scene didn't exist, but I just kind of created it as I was driving, or as my dad was driving. More palm tree faces, the flag, more palm tree faces. There's a lot, just FYI. I loved doing the textures of the palm trees too. This is my parents' neighbor and really bad rendition of my parents. These are all the textures of my parents' house. So their chandelier, some of the vessels they've purchased, and I just did a grid of different textures. This is like one of her little cubby things for her yarn, but it was really fun, her lamp, to kind of have a grid of just textures. And then I started doing these lines of gratitude, and this is something I'm going to do more in my life. I definitely am bringing this into my life. Where in the morning I often sit down and do a lot of writing, but this time I just kind of closed my eyes and thought about all the things I was grateful for and did a blind contour of that and then wrote it all down later. These are all blossoms, like stylized bougainvillea blossoms. I really loved the bougainvillea there. Here's another gratitude line. This one I did vertically, and a fun sun mandala. This is a park we visit every time we go. I love it because it has peacocks in it, and this is like the front gate stylized palm tree faces. I think this is yucca and some of the cactus around their place. This is a cactus from that Saguaro Park, and it was blooming. And then I love this baskety sketch line for emphasis. Here's a peacock from that park. And then we went to lunch at a kind of place that it's almost like a zoo. So they had a bunch of flamingos, so I took a thing of that. Here's another collected landscape. And this is just from things around my parents' complex. But I'm really liking this kind of like adding line stylized texture. During this trip, Emily Pike was on my mind because she was killed in the San Carlos Apache tribe she was discovered during my time in Arizona. And I hope her memory is a blessing. And I felt the need to draw her And then I'm gonna paint this red for missing and murdered Indigenous women. And I just thought these textures, and I don't know, they're kind of dream teepees, but it was a hard day. I went to the Northwest Watercolor Society meeting in the pool, of all things. I'll show you some video of that. So these are just my notes I took during that meeting. And my friend talked about always having a celebration at the center of her books. So this is my Javelina celebration. I was really intrigued by these little odd animals that are pig-like. I never saw one except for a taxidermied one, but I did have fun laughing about seeing them. And they were in my gratitude line quite a bit. So this is another gratitude line. I added some stylized texture around. This is when we came home. I and my family have been working on grit building. So for me, grit building is sketchbook drawing of faces in the airport. I feel like I actually captured this guy, and he was sitting right across from me. I was a little scared to draw him. These are some more airport drawings, and these were the bathroom people, and I just thought they were so sassy. I loved them. I love become radically imaginative. It just came to my mind while I was doing this big drawing. And then this is a little hummingbird going into a cactus bloom, which was so cool to see. This is a drawing from a lady in one of the places we ate. She was, I think, advertising beer, but I just love the way her style and the way she was holding herself. And this is a Glendale Public Library sculpture, Meeting at the Trail by Hauser, Leon Hauser, in 1987. It's a big bronze statue. I just did a kind of blind contour of that and loved it. There was a cow head next to my parents' place, so I did a bunch of thumbnails of how you could draw that up as a miniature. These are some sidewalk cracks from their area, because I always like to gather these sidewalk crack images to make animals out of in the Carla Sondheim tradition. Probably the funniest thing I did was I sketched while we had a very turbulent flight home. We were flying home in an electrical storm. So I started with this dotted line, and the airplane is right here. And then this is just me closing my eyes and letting my hand wander while we were in turbulence. And it was kind of amazing to keep my mind off of how much we were bumping around, but also like really realize how much we were bumping around when we got on the ground. Another gratitude line. This was when I got home. And then I watched a YouTube video of Hank Green and Jacob Collier talking about creativity, and then these are my notes from that. These are my drawings. I wanted to start with the white tanks and then kind of think about kind of how my current lines that I'm really liking kind of interact with Arizona lines. And then I did a bunch of 9 patches of birds and mushrooms and moons and Arizona skylines. And then I thought about like just stacking all the different animals I was really interested in on top of each other as a possible quilt. And then I had lunch with a good friend, a couple, and we were talking about raising kids with roots and wings, and this was what I drew while I was with them. We're obsessively watching Great Pottery Throwdown, so this is a pattern from a judge's dress, and this is the beginning of a judge's face. And there was a a naked drawing challenge, so I did that. I always like to add postscripts to the ends of my little books like this that kind of gather in learning. The music we were listening to, another couple quotes, some threads of commonality. This was my 9-patch ideas. And then we watched The Art of Vintage on the Magnolia channel, and I really fell in love with her look. More quotes. El Mirage was founded by the Hohokam Native American tribe, earliest inhabitants. They were elaborate canal builders, and it's a very dry place. I can imagine that was very helpful. So that's my little drawing sketchbook, and I'm going to leave this video here because it's about the amount of time I can upload easily, and then I will do a flip through of this one as well.